Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Eric Bird, here at StopStrugglingNow.com. And today it's OMG. That's right. And Friday and Thursday. It's been a stock market flurry like anything you've seen before. The question is why? Now, there's no why, really. Why don't I just tell you why? It's the Trump effect. Why is it the Trump effect? It's very simple. Tax cut, tax breaks, and reducing the interest rate by the Federal Reserve, all happening next year. And they're getting ahead of the curve as we speak. Are you in the game, ladies and gentlemen? That's what we talked about on Friday, because that stock and crypto rally is going down. Better enjoy it now, because financial plans, without them, you will be hurting 3 years from now. And welcome. Stop Struggling Now gear. Check. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. Now, let's get to it. All right. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank you so much for being here once again. Please share the videos, because you never know who you'll be able to help. And for the third time, smash that like button. You have to. Or if you're on Instagram like Glam Kick, smash that follow button. We have broke through finally after we usually hit 921 followers, and it goes back to 916, 917. Just like when we went up to 922, then it dropped back to 919, 918. Then we went back again to 922, and then it dropped down to 921. Now we're back to a record 929 followers. And in the last 2 days, Instagram hasn't done their usual, took off 5 or 6 or kept us back near 921 or less. So I want to commend everybody. Thank you for doing the unthinkable, hitting the follow button on Instagram. I greatly appreciate it. And yes, we're doing Instagram live tonight. So I want to thank everybody for being at both locations, plus our other social media platforms. Make sure you go down to the bottom of the description box. If you're not using your mobile phone and you're on YouTube, that would mean you can find our other social media platforms. Please subscribe to all of them. Because why? I hate to admit it, but you guys have to understand, when you're a true procrastinator of what's going to happen in the future, they don't like you giving the news so you can win. They want me to give the news so they can win, but I'm not on that board. I'm on your side. We're trying to get you no credit check, no qualifying, no barriers to entry to buy real estate. That's right. Outside of the United States, pre-construction properties. Well, right now we've been concentrating on the Dominican Republic. Why? Because it's about to go down in the United States. Some people are going to be deported. Some people are going to be denaturalized citizens potentially. This is going to be off the charts. But as everybody has understood for the last 4+ years here in the SSN Nation, we said, what if there's a problem in the United States? What if your passport gets turned off and you think you want to buy property in Belize, Costa Rica, South America? Good luck. Have a nice hike. But for everybody else that said Caribbean is the place I want to be, no such necessary luck is needed, because all I have to do is go to any port on the Eastern coast and somebody, can I get a ride? And it's pretty much that simple. That's right. Can I work it off? Whatever the case may be, I can get dropped off where I have property, where I have businesses at, and therefore I bypass all the nonsense. We'll talk about that another day. But tonight, we're going to be talking about this, oh my God, this stock rally. I'm going to give credit where credit is due, because everything is set up. The economy is stable. Interest has come down. The Federal Reserve, the inflation rather has come down to 2.4%, the same as in 2019. The stock market has already doubled between 2022 and 2024 December. So everything is stable. Took a few trillion, $1.5 trillion off of the deficit. Ways to pay for it. So we have stabilized. And now tax cuts and tax breaks are looming in your future. And by the way, you guys know how I feel about it, and I have to tell you the truth. You know what happens if you're not part of the upper class, the ones that have assets. Because if you don't have any assets, then that means you didn't get this free money that just happened over the last 7 days, 6 days, 5 days, ladies and gentlemen. Elon Musk, $90 billion in the last 5 days for this stock rally. Billion. You guys don't understand yet? Stock market, you have to be in. Real estate, unfortunately, you have to be in. Business ownership, not startup, buying into businesses, you have to get in. You're going to be left behind if you think that you're going to be able to work and be maintaining a comfortable lifestyle. I got news for you. You got 3 years, and you better be making 150,000, and forget that, 200,000 or more in your household income. Otherwise, bye-bye. Because if you can't pay for social services because you're not taxing the people who make the most money, and social services goes bye-bye, then guess what happens to the lower and middle class people who may need help in 3 years after the cost of living increases? You could be on that chopping block and you don't even know it yet. While you're over here shaking pom-poms, you might be thinking, what's he talking about? I'll tell you what we're talking about. If I give tax cut, tax breaks, and if I say, boom, everything goes up because we can borrow money. Yes, you're going to be loving life for the next 2 years. You can borrow, buy stuff. You can borrow some more, buy some more stuff. But when that bill comes due and there are people who are going to be laid off due to, oh my, businesses that aren't going to be making revenue because you decided to back situations, not you backing it. Some of you may not have. But if you don't understand the repercussions of putting tariffs on everybody, you understand you're only one country versus 50 versus 100. Let me explain. I'm the big bad wolf. I tell everybody, hey, I don't care if you like me or not, we're going to do a 10% to 20% tariff. Do you think the rest of the other 49 people are just going to look at each other and go, no? They're going to be looking at each other like, can you believe these mother? And they're going to be like, you're right, I don't believe this. We're going to put tariffs on them. And now what's going to happen, ladies and gentlemen? What's going to happen with our corporations that has to send our products out to the other countries? And they add tariffs on, meaning their citizens have to pay more for our stuff. And then they turn around and say, no, thank you. We'll trade amongst ourselves. Forget you, America. You can be isolated if you want. We'll just bypass you. Everybody can make the same stuff you make. So now, don't worry. You got 3 years for that effect. Congratulations, America. So now, if you know that's the setup, I suggest you be getting in on this program. Stocks, crypto, real estate. It's going boom with the trunk effect. Now, you guys got to get on it. We've been talking about it for the last 6 months. Come on now, a year and a half back. Dividends with stocks. So then that way you're earning 15, 18% while you can go to sleep. We've talked about this already. If you missed some of our previous videos, then please do not miss them. Give credit where credit is due. Laverne Penix is in the house. I'm going to give him credit where credit is due. He made investments outside of the United States. He's looking at a couple. Well, wait a minute now. Let me know, Laverne Penix, Mr. Cool is in the house. Let me know what happened in Spain. Maybe he pulled the trigger on another country outside of the United States. So he says, I'm going to be able to be in the safe zone if everything falls apart. Very, very smart thinking. And welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream with that icon next to his name, which I greatly appreciate. And he brings his tagline this evening. Hello, SSN Nation. I hope everyone is doing well. I received a notification and he says he saw the trailer. So I want to thank him so much for that. And everybody else, notice his name here, AKA, I mentioned it already, Mr. Cool is in the house. Harney Harnett Bar. I see you at Instagram. Make sure you guys hit that follow button. Make sure you hit that heart button, no matter where you are on our social media live stream tonight, because you can be anywhere. Several locations. Victor Marrero, Mr. Retiree is here. Welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream with that icon next to his name, which I greatly appreciate as well. And he brings his tagline this evening. Hello, all. Let's do this from Puerto Rico. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. He's over at the motherland. He's over on the island, and it's motherland for him. But it's motherland. I got a special heart for it myself. I was on the opposite end of the island. That's right, for a little childhood experience. And yeah, viva la Puerto Rico. That's right. Now, I'm happy you're over there, my man, because now you're going to be able to tell us a little bit about what's been happening down there in San Juan, I believe. And also, you know what I was thinking? Victor Marrero, I'm thinking, you know, when your friend or you or somebody was looking at a condo or was selling a condo, it was a studio unit, really, but it was so big that they could have put a door and made it a one-bedroom. Whatever happened with that, and how much does a condo cost in well, I guess it's not really downtown, but it's still San Juan, which is like downtown everywhere. But anyhow, in San Juan, that potentially even may have even had ocean view. It was in that apartment complex that some people did. Let us know what happened, but I'm very, very happy you started on your worldwide tour. That's right. Worldwide tour, ladies and gentlemen. We have a lot of entrepreneurs. We have a lot of investors in this house. That's why we have our pulse on what's going down. Are there any questions about the power of Bitcoin and ETH? Let it rip, baby. Hey, we were telling everybody Bitcoin and ETH. I believe that was the two things for over a year and a half, Victor Marrero. It was pretty simple. It was going to have to be that way. Don't mess around with the alts. Why not just go with the big boys? Eliminate the risk whatsoever. Sure, there's going to be some other stuff where people got 100%, 200%, 300, whatever. But the point is Bitcoin, ETH. And if you wanted some exposure to Bitcoin, you should have been buying micro strategy. That's right, micro strategy, ladies and gentlemen, MSTR on the stock market. But if you think that's pretty wild, how about MSTR at YieldMax ETFs? Can you imagine the option income trading and the profit that YieldMax is going to be getting for this month? This is going to be off the charts for the dividend that's going to be dispersed. Wait a minute. Oh, wait, we might have to. Oh, they just changed it. I don't know what MSTR, which group they're in, but whatever's going to happen over the next 30 days, there's going to be a huge dividend this month and next month. It's going to be off the charts, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go to yieldmaxetfs.com, yieldmaxetfs.com, and look at the distribution of dividends. And they use option income money, puts, calls, a little bit of money in treasuries. Do your own research. You might find something else over there like Coinbase. That's right, CON, 100% distribution. Wonder what their dividend's going to be next month. It's going to be off the charts. So this is easily predictable. And guess what? This little ride is going to happen for the next 2.5 years. I know it's hard to believe, isn't it? How are you going to sit on the sidelines? You know why you're going to sit on the sidelines? Because 70% of the population lives paycheck to paycheck. You better find yourself some disposable income so you can invest, so you can get some of this free money. Put in some extra work, some overtime, because otherwise, bye-bye. upper middle class wipeout. And if you don't have assets to help pay for where you live or pay so you can go on the worldwide tour like Victor Morrell and wife and family are able to do, I'm sorry. It's going to be too late on the other side of this in 3 years, after the damage has been done, after the interest rate goes to the low as it can go, nowhere to go but up. Inflation kicks in because the additional money that's going to be added to the deficit, the printing of money out of thin air because people will be borrowing against their assets to add more money to the money supply. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, 3.5 years from now, you're going to wish you would have bought as much assets as you can. And that's the mantra around here right now. We can't be playing around. You have no more time. Victor Morrell, how about that stock market ready to explode? Victor Morrell, it's already exploded. It's been exploding. This is something that was not supposed to happen until next year, about 6 to 7 months from now, when they did the tax cut tax breaks. They are anticipating the tax cut tax breaks, along with, by then, another 2 Federal Reserve tax cuts should have occurred. So with those 2 things, we're off to the races for another 2.5. Well, it's going to end up being 3.5 years from today. So 2.5 years from a year from now. But the point I'm trying to make is, American citizens, I wasn't wrong about the 5 years wiping out the middle class. I'm not going to be wrong about the 3 years it's going to wipe out the upper middle class. Upper middle class means 85% of people in America will be living paycheck to paycheck after this next explosion. The only people that are going to be able to survive are the people that have money coming in while they're sleeping. That's the only mantra you need for the next 3 years. That is your goal. Stop playing around. No more liability purchases. You're going to have to concentrate. Think about this. Every time you spend $100, think about this. That could mean to you $18 for life coming in. Now you start thinking about, how many $100 have I been spending just this month alone? Some people are going to go, you know what? My rent is $2,500. 25 times 18. That's pretty good. But imagine that's every month that you're giving away. That could be 50 times 18, 75 times 18, 150 times 18. That's what you could be getting every month. That's 18% return. Never mind the 50%. Never mind the 60. Never mind the 100. Never mind going to yield max ETFs and getting 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 100% return, or distribution, shall I say. Distribution is different than the ways the stock market pays out dividends. Yield max ETFs, due to the option income strategy, they actually are making cashola. So therefore, they're distributing amongst everybody. They don't own a corporation. They don't even invest in the actual underlying stock. They're doing options. So there's going to be a little fluctuation. So therefore, do your own due diligence. But again, it's off to the races, and it's exploding prematurely because it's the Trump effect. Let's call it what it is. They know what's coming. You know what's coming. Everybody knows what's coming. What more do you need here? You better get in on the game. Otherwise, you're getting left behind. Let's just call it what it is. Joe Nay, another investor's in the house, ladies and gentlemen. I'm excited tonight. Welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream with that icon next to his name, which I humbly appreciate. And he says, happy Money Making Monday, SSN Nation. Hope everyone is well. That's right. Hopefully everybody had a great weekend. And oh, by the way, we have a few veterans in the house tonight. That's right. Happy Veterans Day. Thank you for your service, as they always say. Now, foreign and domestic. That's what we're dealing with here. Foreign and domestic. You're going to have to start thinking about foreign, ladies and gentlemen. Your foreign livelihood. What if America isn't what you think it is? What if America has wolves in sheep's clothing, trying to be something that it's not? What if? Are you going to stand by and wait till it happens? Or are you going to start thinking, wait a minute, what if it does happen, where things are shut down, where things are bordered or shut down, where there's a trade war with the freaking world? What if all that actually comes to fruition? There are consequences and effects. And this is a global world. This is not the old days where you can just dictate to people and say, do this, or we're not going to be including you. Now everybody has their own markets based on, if I have cheap labor, you need my cheap labor to produce your goods and services. If I decide to stop you from using my cheap labor, okay, go build it yourself, which now means you better come up with some factories. You better start coming up with molds. You better find the people that want to get paid slave labor, because otherwise, who's going to be buying your own products in your own country? You guys, you better think about this. It's going down with or without you now. It doesn't even matter. We're already got wheels in motion. The rich are going to survive the best. So that's why we're here, to make sure that you get enough money underneath your pillows, your duffel bag of cash. It's going to have to be big, and you're going to need a bunch of them, because 1 million ain't going to be enough no more. All right. So let's get started, shall we? Let's see what else we got going on before we keep moving. Eric, I am more than ever considering Spain. Life is so much easier in Spain. See, Laverne Penix, that's because Spain is not a 250 to 500-year-old country. See, the things that America has gone through, Spain has went through centuries, thousands of years. The EU, African nations, they've went thousands of years to come to where they are. So they do things a little bit differently. And the ease of life, mental health, stress-free, chemical-free, better health is what they go for. This is why you have a whole different lifestyle, where somebody could get up to work at 8 in the morning, work till noon, and then they say, hey, I'll see you at 3 p.m., right? That's why. Because nobody should be working 5, 6 days a week, 9, 10, 12 hours a day for 40 years, and then say, man, did I make it? And all through that whole time, you're under stress, giving off cortisone. Again, there's certain things that happens in America that people are like, hey, when you look at people from in America, even not just overseas, but in America, and you look at 1960s, 1950s, 1940 pictures of Americans, right? And you'll notice something very interesting. The odds of you finding somebody that is well overweight seemingly is slim. And the reason why it's slim is because the chemicals that are in our food wasn't in their food. Food was processed, or shall I say, not processed how it is now. The chemicals, so it can sit on a shelf, that has to be put in, is bad for you. The colors that they put in on fruit and vegetables and your foods, that's bad for you. Cancerous products that you can't sell outside of the United States. So all this stuff over the last 60 years, now you have a different society than before, and you have a sicker society than before. So when he says life is so much easier in Spain, again, he doesn't have to convince me. I need to convince you guys, because 90% of Americans have never been to the EU zone. So therefore, you don't know what he's even talking about. You're just thinking, oh, okay, he means like moving to the Midwest, hanging out on a farm, having like 5 acres, no neighbors, not living in the city, not having to do anything. I feel nice and calm. No. We're not talking about that. We're talking about, imagine that you live in a place kind of like, I don't want to say Miami, but let's just say Miami. Let's say New York City, Barcelona. Let's say New York City type stuff. And you live there, right? The same calm and zen is happening in Barcelona. But New York, trying to replicate that, our system is not built like their system. So we can't replicate it at all, because we're not 2,000 years old. We're not 1,000 years old in America. Just keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen. But we do have history in America. And tonight, we're going to go over some history because just like Laverne Penix says, life is so much easier in Spain. Hey, Laverne Penix, man, let's just call it what it is. I'm going to tell you, you got 2.5 years, right? At least that's the way I look at it, all right? For the upper middle class takeover, before upper middle class, you're going to have to make $200,000 a year in your household income to survive reasonably with no safety nets. Because if this goes, well, it's probably going to go wiggy because tax breaks mean no additional monies. There's going to be a deficit for the Social Security. All right. So that means it's going to run out. So that safety net could be gone. And if they remove health care for all, Affordable Care Act, then I don't know how you're going to get health care, because in America, insurance companies back in the 80s and 90s, if you already were sick, the ability to get insurance was very bad. Pre-existing conditions is a thing. All right. So you can't get insured. And if you do get insured, you're going to have to be paying a couple of thousand or more per month trying to get insured to save your life. So be very, very careful, because there's levers that happen. If all of a sudden you find out, we know tax breaks are coming, but if you find out somebody repeals Affordable Care Act and you already have, let's just say, a broken leg, let's just say you have bronchitis, you have asthma, and it's in the system because you were being treated for this pneumonia. When you get sick again, you're going to have a problem. Or everybody better be in the military. So then you have healthcare coverage. I'm just saying. Shout out to the veterans, right? So he is exactly right. I would consider Spain. I'm surprised you did not pull the trigger yet, but you still have time. Joe Nay, I got the notification, saw the trailer, and I smashed the like button. Thank you so much for the trifecta. All right, everybody. Hopefully you guys are hearing me. I see Wad Wealth. I see you on Instagram. Yad Wealth. Is that how you do it? Thank you so much. Make sure you guys get over there. Hit that follow button. Hit that like button. Hit the heart button. Whatever you got to hit, no matter where you're watching this from. Everybody on podcast, what's up? You guys are hearing me. iHeart, iTunes, Spotify. Thank you so much. All right. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We just don't do the YouTube thing. We go worldwide. That's why we have love worldwide. All right. I'm not afraid to wear my gear because they know what it is. Hey. That's right. We're looking at a few investment places. Puerto Rico has changed a lot since you were here. It's incredible. You can find any restaurant and stores you can think of. Hey, Victor Marrero, it is the USA, you know. But hold on, Victor Marrero. You're in the eastern part of the island, right? I think that's correct. So you're in San Juan, the boom capital of PR. Let me know what's happening in Mayagüez. Let me know what's happening in Bayamón, Arecibo. Let me know what's over there. All right. Hopefully, maybe you go over there. I don't know. Let me know what's near the rainforest, how people are living when you're coming down the mountain. Let me know what that looks like, because we know San Juan could be off the charts because that's how they designed it. When we were talking about, well, most people don't know what I'm even talking about, but El Dorado, that was by design. I think they changed the name though, but that was by design outside of San Juan on the ocean by the fort, a little ways from the fort. So, but that was by design. The what's the rum company? Jesus, starts with the B, I think. Yeah, the rum company that's in Puerto Rico. They are okay. What is that in the middle? It's almost like in the middle, I think, as I recall, because I drove. We drove many times, so I just can't remember exactly because it's been a while. In fact, I haven't been in Puerto Rico for a while, other than the stop at the airport from the DR. I should have just got out and got a rent a car or something and drove around to see what was happening. James Way, welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream with that icon next to your name, which I humbly appreciate. And he brings his tagline, hello all, got notification. Shout out to the veterans on their day. For everyone except Victor, the rent is too damn high. Exactly. Exactly. Oh, that's funny. I love it. From Victor. Hello, Laverne. I know Spain is so awesome and so affordable compared to the USA. We can live there comfortably with the average USA pension. We'll be back to Europe in 45 days. Can't wait. All right. Victor Morrell, let us know. Did you ever decide on a YouTube channel name? And are you going to do any of the drone footage? Let us know. But I want to know about Puerto Rico myself because, you know, it is a USA territory. Everybody can go over there and have some love. And it is kind of kickback. And I do love the people over there. Come on, man. You guys have no idea. Puerto Rican people are so cool. And of course, it's you know, immigrants from all over. It's cool as hell. James White, Victor. I remember my grandmother traveling from St. Thomas going to see her eye doctor in PR when I was a little boy. Took a flight on Eastern Airlines and stayed at a hotel. Many old school memories. James Way. He's an island boy. An island boy. Okay. I didn't know that. He's over in the St. Thomas VI. Oh, man. Oh, man. Tell me about it, man. Was it the old Eastern Airlines prop plane? Oh, man. Killing me. Yeah, exactly. That's all I can say, man. I ain't got nothing but love. I told you guys, I call it love where I see love. When look at this, I'm just going to tell you right now. I'm going to just say it. I don't know how the PR is right now, but all I do know is when I was staying there, it was off the charts. That's all I can say. Everybody was friendly. Everybody had fun. But then again, I wasn't in San Juan side. I was on the other side. Arecibo, Bayamon, Mayagüez on the other side, right? Phosphorescent Bay is what we used to call it. I don't know what they call it now because there's no promotions for Phosphorescent Bay, which is kind of wild. That's all I know. It's kind of crazy. So it's off the charts. Brian P. Hello, Eric. I hope all is well with you. Yes, Brian P. It is. And welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream with that icon I humbly appreciate. And Mr. Dividend is in the house, ladies and gentlemen. He has arrived. He's here. So I want to thank you so much. Mr. YieldMaxETFs.com is here. And he's also Mr. ET, Mr. DX. A lot. I know. Those are dividend funds, ladies and gentlemen. You want to earn 7%, 10%, 11% on your money after you put it in right now while the market is booming. Remember when I talked about those real estate investment trusts over the last year and a half? People, the real estate investment trust stocks going up. And you're still getting 16, 17, 14, 15% return on your money? Yes. If you would have made the leap of faith, you would be making money. And as Brian P. says, we are making money in here. He's exactly right, ladies and gentlemen. Hi, James Way, Eastern Airlines. That's old school. Exactly. Very old school. Old school prop plane for sure. And loud as hell. Yeah. See, people? See, you guys don't know nothing about none of this. You think Eastern Airlines is just a jet. But no, not in PR to St. Thomas. You had to get on the prop plane, Eastern. That's what I remember. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I looked at the thing and I was like, bye. I'm staying in PR. But you have to remember, people are dying off the coast in them damn prop planes. I'm like, bye. I'm not going. Victor Marrero. Oh, no. Come on, man. My hometown is Bayamon. No way, man. I'm next to San Juan, as you know. I'm in the middle of everything. Bacardi Rum Factory. There it is. It's 20 minutes or less from my house. Exactly. El Condado. There you go. That's it, Victor Marrero. And San Juan are great. So is Dorado. Exactly. I forgot about El Condado. Exactly. Victor Marrero knows what I'm talking about. See, ladies and gentlemen? See? You got to get around, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, I would recommend to everybody drive around Puerto Rico. It's a U.S. territory. You don't need a passport. You can use your driver's license to go there. and to the U.S. Virgin Islands as well, because a lot of people keep forgetting but U.S. Virgin Islands is not cheap though. I'm just going to let you know right now. All right, so but all I'm saying is everybody should go to Puerto Rico and go check it out. You should go check it out. I mean, look, there's poverty levels that you probably have never seen unless you were in Alabama, Louisiana, Mississippi. But the reality of the situation is, all I can say is this. Victor Morel is from Bayamon, apparently, which I did not know. All I can say is this. If you're at the beach hanging out, and then you'll run into the local Puerto Ricans that are there, just stay there a few days. You're almost like familiar, as long as you're cool. If you're an asshole, well, I'm sorry. You're going to have problems no matter where you're at. All right. But if you're cool, you cool. It's like familiar. You'll be eating like in people's houses. Come on down. We're having a cookout up the street. Yeah, but I don't know them. You know me. You good. Let's go. Whatever you want, eat up. Wait, I didn't bring anything. It's okay. Here's some rice and beans. And they ain't the ones you make in America. All right? They're different. They're better. All right? I'm just saying. Come on now. Laverne Penix, hey, Victor, we visited Madrid and Alicante. I hope by next year we will be ready to start the purchase process. That will be awesome. Hey, Laverne Penix, how much was the ones in Alicante again, if you remember? Madrid's bigger, though. So that's interesting. An interesting choice. But still, those cities are older and things are settled. All right. Financial plans, ladies and gentlemen. But before we get into financial plans, I'm very happy that you're here tonight. I want to thank everybody watching because I feel like there's an obligation, because a lot of people don't know how I started and weren't with us 3, 4, 5 years ago. And so they don't understand where we're coming from here, because in today's social media, it's mostly just give me some information that I can use, right? Or when you're going to sell me your course. But see, we don't have a course here, but I did give you some stock symbols. And I'm going to let Victor Marrero, the man of Bayamon, which is a shocker. You never even mentioned anything. And I mentioned Bayamon several times. And Mayagüez. So hold on. Wait a minute. Victor Marrero can break out these are stock symbols. That's why you have to have your pen, pad, and papers ready, because you never know what's going to happen. But I'm just going to start out with the SCHD. These are ETFs that I'm going to be talking about. SCHD, VOO, VOOG, VTI. I know that was pretty fast, but VOO, V as in Victor, OO, V as in Victor, OO, G as in George, V as in Victor, T as in Tom, I. You know what's interesting? Before last Monday, we were talking about these same stocks. Those are ETF stocks, right? So that you can buy at any stock location brokerage account. Down below in the description box, you can pick up Robinhood or Webull. Those are online brokerage accounts, apps. They give you free shares of stock just by downloading Robinhood. You get 1 free share of stocks, the promotion. But if you get a gold account or a higher account, then you get cash back for using a credit card, and you can apply it towards your account and other perks. Also, Webull, if you deposit like $10, $100 or more, then you get like some 5 to 10 to 15 free shares of stock. So use the link down below in the description box. That would be greatly appreciated. And go on and get your free shares of stock. What does this also mean? This means I'm going to have to give you FEPI, right? Which is not on my list. I'm going to give you VGT, and Super Micro Systems is not a thing, but we're going to talk about SMH. That's right. S as in Sam, M as in Mary, H, because what's going to happen next? NVIDIA, ladies and gentlemen, they are getting orders for their new Blackwell software. So NVIDIA just joined the Dow Jones Industrial Average November 8th. I know. And Tesla somehow is at $350, Laverne Penix. I mean, this explosion. And it's rightfully so, because he's going to be part of the administration. He's going to be getting billions of dollars worth of subsidies in addition to the billions he's already gotten. He's going to be able to direct the EV thing, having a huge advantage until everybody realizes that the party doesn't believe in climate change nor EVs. So that is going to be very, very interesting on how that's going to go down. So we'll see. But nonetheless, he's going to be protected because they're not going to allow EV vehicles into the United States, which are half price. So he's protected. But the sales won't be there just from the United States citizens, because in the EU zone, they're restricting him because he has an unfair advantage, because they're giving him subsidies in the EU. They're giving him subsidies in China. So the EU zone was like, wait a minute. China's giving you subsidies to make cars there. Then you're selling your cars in our country, and we're giving you a subsidy to sell to our people. Hold on a second. I think we're going to stop this situation. That's what the EU zone all of a sudden came up with, like in the last month. But as far as inside the United States, stock price damn near double. Well, some people who bought it 107, 111, 117, 120, 350 is what it sits, I believe, now. Huge upside. Now, why don't we get into the situation at hand? ARR. All right? ARR. These are real estate investment trusts. I've mentioned these before. Anybody got any other ones? DX, NYMT, ORC, AGNC. Throw a different one to the Carl Icahn Group, IEP. You want in the 20 percentile range? IEP. I know, it's kind of crazy, right? PSEC. I'm sorry. WDTE. I got you, Victor Morel. Don't worry. WDTE. I hear you. I got you. Don't worry. We got that one. I can't remember the other ones, though, but that one I can remember. All right. Hopefully that helps some people out. All right. Hold on. Q. Why? MSTR, I already mentioned. This is funny. I missed one. IVR is on my list. NLY. TWO is Two Harbor. TWO. N is in Nancy. LY. These are all real estate investment trusts. Why is this a good thing? Because, like I've been telling people, they're going to reduce the interest rate, the Federal Reserve. These guys own real estate. When it gets low enough, they'll refinance it to lower their payments, and then more profits come to the real estate investment trust dividend holders. That's why you invest in those. And over the last year and a half that I've been telling people to do it, not only did you get the dividends of 13, 14, 15%, now they're higher, but you also received appreciation on the stock price. Win. High five. The salsa dance. That's right. Victor Marrero, the salsa dance. All right. Now you can see I'm a little giddy tonight. And look who else is going to be in the house. We are ready. That's right. We're ready. We're prepared. We've been stocking up, and oh my, look who's in the house. Maria Barnes is here. Mrs. Cool is in the house, and welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream. And she says, hi, guys. How is everyone doing? Everyone is doing great, especially when we see you are in the house from Alicante, Madrid, Spain. And, oh, I forget, she has an advantage, I believe. If I'm not mistaken, I think she might have an advantage because she might have some sort of Spain citizenship or something. So that means she can even do more damage than the ordinary citizen. So very nice to see you once again. Mr. and Mrs. Cole's in the house. I gotta love this night. All right, Victor, the condos in Madrid are from the high 300s and up since it's a big city. That is true. Big bad city. Brian P says TWO. Yes, thank you so much for putting that in there. I got it in on the late notice, but I appreciate you dropping it for everybody else and letting them know early. Maria Barnes, and Alicante prices are much lower. Of course, and near water. Small city, you can find something from 160 and up. Hey, up, of course, you have $1 million places also, of course. But see, I'm more interested in the 160 to 200. Are we talking about a 2-bedroom or a 1-bedroom? That's the key right there. That's what I really want to know about. Because if it's a 2-bedroom, then that's more than affordable. All right, can't forget ETFs, SPY, QQQ, IVV. Oh, he added one for us, IVV. Different than my IVR. Anything we give you, you're going to have to go study yourself. All right, but I like this IVV as well. These three are also exploding, of course, because all-time stock market highs mean everybody joins the ride. We're killing it, doing option trading on QQQ, SPY, NVIDIA, TSLA. The weekly premium passive income is juicy. You got that right. It was very juicy last week. I couldn't believe it. I was like, wait, what is YMAX and YMAG doing? Oh, YMAX, WMAX, YMAG, they give out weekly dividends. Yield Max ETFs, ladies and gentlemen. That's what he's referring to. And NVIDIA, NVDA, TSLY is part of the Yield Max ETFs, or get NVDA by itself, which is highly recommended, quite frankly. But cover yourself. QQQ, SPY, they're all doing good. You can't complain when you have all-time record highs. You had all-time record highs from 2022 to 2024. You should have been riding the wave then, but it's okay. PSCC, ULTY. That's right, ULTY. Brian P., thank you so much for bringing that into the house tonight. MSTY, that's right. That's the master micro strategy. MSTY at Yield Max ETFs. Get that dividend, that nice, juicy dividend every month. That's what we love here, ladies and gentlemen. We're looking to buy in Alicante, beautiful cities in the Costa Blanca. So you have the beach. There you go. So is the 160 a 2-bedroom or 1-bedroom? IVR. That's it. Exactly right, Brian P. We got the IVR already. I love it. Thank you so much for that, man. Putting it in print. Ola Maria from Victor Marrero and everybody else. I want you guys to understand. This is live or let die. All right. I'm telling you right now. Live or let die is going down right now for the next 3 years. You better be making plans out here. Ola Maria from Victor Morel. Got you. Yes, it makes sense for Madrid. I wouldn't mind something outside Madrid, but close enough to via metro. The beauty about the big cities is the transportation infrastructure. That is very true, too. That is very true. Something that America doesn't have. Other than in major, like New York has a subway, right? Chicago. Well, okay. New York has a subway. I'll just say New York. What other major city has a subway? San Francisco has like MARTA, which is a below ground and above ground. But of course, they have challenges when you have the earth moving all the damn time. But the thing is, what other city has a major subway other than New York? You can go to the EU zone and cities have transportation. You don't even need a car. You don't even need a bicycle. And you don't even mind walking around a few blocks. That's how cool it is. Because you're not just in a residential neighborhood when you're walking around for a few blocks. It's residential mixed in with your local restaurant or bakery or, you know, what a lot of things are within your few blocks. You don't have to go a mile. You don't have to leave your subdivision and go out to the shopping center to go get food. No, I just walk up the street and I can go get food. Food's here. There's a whole different lifestyle. I don't need a car. All right. That's what I love about the EU zone. And going from country to country without needing anything. I mean, you should always carry something if you're not a citizen in there. But that's the other thing. Bullet trains that don't exist in America. All kind of stuff that the lifestyle is totally different. So it's an all new meaning when somebody says, this is what people don't understand. Let's just say I'm in let's say how we have in America. What are major cities that people visit in America? Los Angeles, Miami, New York, Chicago. I think that's pretty much the places where most people would go, right? So imagine if there was a train that you could leave New York and you could be in Miami in 6 hours or less, 5 hours. You could be in LA from Miami in a while, but still one day, 9 hours. That would be pretty wild. You can be from LA to San Francisco in 2 hours. And what if they said something crazy like $75 New York to Miami? You guys would freak out. Americans would be like, I'm never taking a plane again. Then you would understand why plane cost over there is cheaper than the plane cost over here. Because they have actual competition from just the street. No parking at the airport needed, because what did I do? I got on the little train that took me to the bus. Not the bus, but one subway system, the trolley car, whatever, takes me to the bullet train. Or Uber it. What the hell? It doesn't even matter. My point is the cost factors are affordable. So if somebody says, hey, man, I can go from Paris down to Rome and it's going to be, okay, here's $85. When are we going to be there? Oh, I think we'll be there in like 4 hours or less. I'm like, what more do we have to do here? Including my luggage and everything. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. This is the difference. We live in a different era in the United States by being blocked for what they don't do outside of the U.S. If you're in the Asian market, well, I shouldn't say that, Korea or something, right? Same thing. Time is a lot. So now everybody on board down here for $20, $25. Get off, do your thing. You can go every place, every major city. It's ridiculous what we have over here. Just telling you right now. All right. So what she's saying is exactly right. See the transportation. So what she's saying is this, and here's the funniest part. Like in America, I'll use another example. If you're in Miami and you said, I want to go to, I'm trying to think of go to Jackson, Mississippi, right? How can you get there? In America, that's not going to happen. In the EU, you can get there and it's going to be pretty cheap. And you can get there in a few hours. It's less than 1,000 miles away. So you're going to get there in a few hours. You don't need to worry about a plane. And just like right now, flying from Miami to Jackson, Mississippi is probably not even, I mean, I don't even know if you can do that. But in the EU zone, you can get around the way their transportation system is. So when she says you could live in Alicante and then just be like 40, but I don't even know how much it would be. It might only be $40 to go from Alicante to Madrid for all I know. I mean, it's cheap. So people can actually live and you won't be in traffic for an hour and a half. So there's a couple of things that's going on that's different. So when she's talking like this, don't think like you're in America. Think like you're in a fantasy world where you can say, hey, wherever I am right now, I can walk down the street, take the the subway, and then I can come up and then get on a train. And the trains are moving. And you can be somewhere. You can go across some states because, there's some states in America that's only 100 and some odd miles wide. So that's an hour gone through. So again, there's a whole different time and space in the EU zone than there is in America. That's all I can say. So when she's saying these things, you might be thinking, nah, that's kind of crazy. Why would I live in a major city and then go out to the coast? It's because of the transportation systems are different. Yes, Eric, I have Spanish citizenship and American. Oh, she's got the best of both worlds. Right on. High fiving. That's how you do it. Exactly. She's got the best of both worlds. The condos for 160. Look at this. 2-bedroom, 2 baths. Hell yeah. And on the beach or by the beach. We're loving life. Yes. Oh, by the way, what's the rules in Spain anyhow? If you're not a citizen of Spain, can you buy? I'm pretty sure you can because DR is Spain. So that means you can buy deeded property if you're not a U.S. citizen. I mean, if you're not a Spaniard, if you're not a Spanish citizen. Yes, from Madrid to Alicante with the average train is only 2.5 hours. See, this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. I have friends who used to drive from San Francisco back to Sacramento because they were able to make $150,000 to $200,000, but you can't make that in Sac for the same job. So they were willing to go work in San Francisco and drive an hour and a half to 2 hours in traffic. In traffic, there is no speed train. There is buses, which is funny. They drop people off in the car lots. So they'll come up, 80 from the Bay Area. And then I don't even know how far because I've never done it, but every 20 miles, there's like car parking. And then MARTA only comes up out of the Bay so far. So it doesn't even go all the way up to like, let's call it Fairfield or Travis Air Force Base, if anybody knows where those are. So the whole thing's totally different. If they had a train that was moving, we're talking about 90 miles. That's it. A train that's moving 100 miles per hour, 120 miles per hour. Even if it was moving 60 miles per hour, people will still be home at the same amount of time, except they could have been just sitting there sleeping, going up to the eating cart, going up, getting some eats, drinks, chilling out, relaxing, taking their time. Big difference. Big difference. All right. So this is where we want you guys. We want you to put yourself in position to where you can be anywhere. What else is happening? The number one search on Google. How to leave the United States. That's funny. That's funny. Here in the U.S. and the SSN Nation, we've been talking about it for over 4 years because I knew this day was coming one way or another. We were ahead of the curve the whole time. I keep telling you guys you're ahead of the curve. All right. Now, hola, Victor from Maria Barnes. Okay. The beauty of it all is that you can walk everywhere. There's no need to drive. Exactly. This is what people have no concept of, Victor Moreau. If you live in Miami, New York, L.A., well, no, not so much L.A., but Miami, New York, Chicago, and there's some small town cities, but that don't really count. But in a major city, and if we go to small town America, even our small town Americas aren't built for everybody being able to leave their neighborhood. Small town USA basically has downtown, which will have shops and restaurants and things like that. Then once you leave downtown, it's a rural situation, right? That's the difference in the EU zone. They have that too once you get way out, but generally they have a whole swath of land, miles, where you're in a city and you don't need any car. You can just get on whatever little trolleys coming by or train or subway, and they make it very convenient and they come on time. Like you set your clock to the transportation system. That's basically what you do. You're just like, this thing's on time. What the heck? You're thinking it's a fluke because you're from America. Then you go at the next place, you're like, yeah, it's going to leave at 2:05. You get there at 2:06. See what happens. You're like, 2:05. That thing's here on time again. Everywhere is like on time. At least that's my experience. I didn't go to every place, but it's kind of cool. So all this stuff that people are saying that you're hearing in the chat room, it's true. They're not making stuff up. This is true. Very true. Maria, how about new projects? Did you guys see any upcoming ones? Any names as an Airbnb investment? They have something, Victor Morel. We done some new projects, 2 bedroom, 2 bath from 240,000. What is their terms? Victor, we saw some new projects from 240 for 2 bedroom, 2 bath. And also, we want to reiterate, Maria Barnes and Mrs. Cool and Mr. Cool can probably say what exactly happens. Because remember, was it a year ago or 2 years ago, you went to Alicante? How much was it compared to 2 years ago? Are the prices jumping up because more people are coming? Let's face it. United States citizens or whoever has dual citizenship, I'm pretty sure they're probably coming because you're getting close to a weather situation that a lot of people could like, right? Victor, we saw some new projects. Let's hear it. Victor, Laverne, isn't that great? We lose weight every time we go to Spain, of course. We walk everywhere, plus eat so much healthier than in USA. Meats, fish, fruits, and so fresh. Love it, exactly. Again, that's another feature. Another feature. See, again, the whole thing about the United States being number one on any damn level is kind of bizarre because as soon as you leave the United States, listen to all of this. Fresh food, no chemicals, walking around. Why is everybody not so fat? Because you're not just jumping in a car driving because everything is like, it's like a block away or 2 blocks away, or you're just willing to just say, I'm not going to jump in my car. It's like right here. Why am I going to go down to the garage, get a car for a place that I can be almost 3/4 there before I get in my car? It makes no sense. And you don't mind walking in your neighborhood because it's safe. Oh, Jesus. Oh, my God. Okay, don't even let me get started again. People know this is the whole difference is what people are describing here is why the life. Again, the time I was in, I'm trying to think where I was, Switzerland, right? And I come up after the, get to downtown in Zurich. And the weirdest thing was they're known for chocolate, right? So I'm walking around and then eventually I'm starting to notice, I'm like, this is weird. Don't look like anybody's eating chocolate around here. Then I figured out what was going on after I started eating. Whenever I went to go eat at a place, they had these like little servings. So it was proportioned to where you're only going to eat like enough. You couldn't really order like a helping for two's not coming. Like how we have like the Cheesecake Factory, right? And they used to make these portions that you would actually have leftovers. No, it wasn't nothing like that. Then I started noticing that people were doing these little eating like bowls and short and then just sitting there talking, relaxing. Like, I'm like, don't these guys got to go to work or something? What the hell's going on around here? So that lifestyle was conducive because there's parks, there's just basically open spaces where people can commune and hang out. And it's like you get on this train that moves, I don't know, about 90 to 100 miles per hour, and you can go a long distance in like 10 minutes if it's moving that fast. So people can just walk, get on, get off in 3 minutes. You're way down somewhere. You went 3-5 miles or whatever. I don't remember. But the fact of the matter is you can get around just like that. And the transportation system was beautiful, but everybody was slim. And I couldn't figure it out like the first 3 or 4 days. I was like, wait a minute. There's not a fat person around here. What the hell's going on? I was just like, good God, Laverne, isn't that great? We lose weight. Exactly. So all this stuff that you hear, you can only get there if you have assets, ladies and gentlemen. You have to save money if you plan on investing outside the United States. You're going to have to buy assets in the United States, I would highly suggest, because the next bull run on the stock market, people are making money. You could have used some of that money to go do something. The next run is going to be in the real estate game. So you're going to have a little play for being in real estate over the next 2.5 to 3 years as well. So these are the things, because when the prices go up, you can take out equity or you can sell, and then you have options. If you sell something and your home went up from, let's call it 450,000 to 800,000, because that's going to be a thing in my opinion. All right. after this next bull run. After that, though, we're going to be in a situation somewhere between the Great Depression and a recession. That's what's going to happen. And it's going to roll into also a Great Depression, Great recession type scenarios. And there's a reason why I say that. And I'm going to show you guys why. Maria and Laverne, what about taxes? Is that a 40% income tax? Victor Morel's on it. He's on it. Yeah, the EU zones, they usually charge you more in taxes. He's correct. I know we can get credit for taxes paid the USA and vice versa due to tax treaty between Spain and USA. Yeah, that's one of the things you can't. If you make money, you're going to pay taxes. You're going to pay taxes. Yes, you can buy in Spain if you are an American. You just need an NIE, which is an ID for non-Spanish citizens. No passport. We can't just use our passport only. Victor, we did lose weight too, and we ate a lot. Of course, you can eat as much as you want, especially when you're walking around. Because, I mean, let's just face facts. I mean, God, man, everybody should go over to the EU zone. Look, go to, first of all, everybody, here's one of my recommendations. I recommend you go to a place like Zurich, which is one of the most expensive places, right? I mean, it's like everybody's a millionaire, right? But that's not the reason why. It's the infrastructure. If you're at Zurich and you get on a train, the train can take you down to Winterland or Lake Zurich, right? You get off at Lake Zurich. Lake Zurich actually has like a big ass plaza that's just for people to hang out. What do I mean by that? It's like 100 yards and probably by 75 yards, cement. And people just hang out and talk, and there's the water, and then there's restaurants on the water. Then there's just another seating area along the water. It's like a chill zone, but people are like out talking, relaxing, no mayhem, the whole gamut from 5-year-old babies to 75-year-old, 80-year-old people, and just chilling, walking around, going to the little shops that are around the square. Cool as hell. And then you hear the water like lapping up against the side of the lake and little boats running around, stuff like that. It's just chilled. Fresh air, mountainous kind of a little. It's like beautiful. But stress, no stress. It's like people are just having nice conversations, relaxed, no drama. I mean, it's just like beautiful. Beautiful. That's all I can say. Victor, we are not sure about the tax. We'll have to check. Oh, you can just Google it. Victor, we are not sure about tax. We'll have to find out more info. The tax rate is probably, wait, isn't it going to be like, what is it? It's going to be like, it has to be like 35 to 45. It has to be. Well, I shouldn't say it has to be, but at least that's what I'm thinking. Spain personal income tax rates. It has to match like Dominican. Oh, Jesus Christ. It is like what we were thinking. It's progressive. If you make 20,000 to 35,000 euro, you're paying 30% taxes in Spain. This is personal. If you make 60,000 to 300,000, Victor Morel, you're on the money. 45% tax. And if you make over 300,000 euro, it's 47%. Does that sound familiar? Isn't that almost like America, right? If you start making like 500,000, 600,000, they want like 45 to 50%. Yeah, this is not good. 60 grand, they're taking 45%. That's a big 60 to 300 grand in EU, 45%. I told you guys this before. My boy from Sweden got called up when he won his $200 and some thousand on the World Poker Tour in Aruba. They called him in Aruba. Yeah, it was live on TV, but they called him. The tax authorities called him and said, "Hey, man, you know you owe us 50%." So again, I found this out later because he didn't have no big ass smile on his face when I saw him and asking him about, hey man, you went finished third. You got 200 and some $1,000, man. How come you acting like it was no big deal? He goes, it didn't change my life because I had to pay half of it to Swedish government. I was like, damn, what the frick? But see, in America, you don't have to pay 50% on 200K. See, you guys are lucky. Victor, we are not sure about tax. We'll have to find out more. It's 45%. Oh, wait, hold on a second. In case you're new here, this is what we do sometimes. I Googled it. You can see this is personal. I don't know business. But here it is. Introduction to Spain's 2024 tax brackets. 0 to 12,450 is 19%. That's even hefty. 12,500 euro to 20,200 euro is 24%. Eeks. That hurts, man. This is hurt watching this stuff. Man, you guys can see this, right? This hurts. 300 grand. That's low for 47% of your money. Woo! Good God. Good God. In fact, let me go check out my man's stuff. In fact, let me go double check. See what they're talking, because he was talking crazy. Oh God, the personal income tax rate in Sweden stands at 52.3%. Ooh, wow. Personal income tax rate in Sweden averaged 55.86% from 1995 until 2024. That's why he was like that 200 and some odd $1,000. They only get to keep like 100 and something. My God, no wonder they called him up with this type of over 50. Yeah, he did say it was 50%. He was like, yeah, man, I had to give up half of it. They called me a few hours after I won. Said, don't forget to send us our money. I was like, that was cold. And now I see why. It was over 50% by a little bit. That's just cold. That is really, really cold. Oh my God. Can you believe that, ladies and gentlemen? 52, 53, 55% tax. That is scary. That is really, really scary. Hey, I'm going to tell you guys something. You understand these countries are older than the United States, right? You understand the United States has world currency. They don't. The United States goes in a deficit. They can't. What do you think would happen if the United States did not have world currency? I'm not saying that's going to be a thing. I don't believe it will be, because of the infrastructure for the banking is in America. In order to duplicate it by another country, they're going to spend years to be able to run cables and do everything that America is able to do. Maria Barnes, yes, prices are definitely higher in properties than last year. Okay, so it's a worldwide phenomenon where the inflation rate is kicking ass for real estate. So it's basically around the world and global, you need to make money. It's no way around it. Victor Maria, I agree. Very important to understand whether or not Spain uses taxes USA pensions or not. I believe they tax you for worldwide income like USA, but I think pensions are off limits. Victor Marrero, it's all on it's on, you can Google it. Because you have to remember, there's a lot of expats that have already done it, and they've already Googled it, and they've already found out. So that's why I'm saying USA pensions. I don't see how they could. Spain taxes its tax residents on their pension, retirement, and foreign Social Security. Oh, what? Tax residents 19 to 47%, depending on overall income. Non-tax residents, however, face tax rates of 8% to 40%, depending on. Ooh, it looks like there may be some taxes. No way. That's a no-go. We can't have that. 8 to 40%, depending on overall income. So they're actually including it in your, oh, whoa, hold on. Here we go. Tax implications. Those who spend over 183 days in Spain, which is 6 months, maintain financial interest in Spain, or live in Spain with a Spanish spouse or dependent children qualify as tax residents. As such, they're subject to taxation on their worldwide income, including foreign retirement income. Oh, there it is. That's September 26, 2024. So it's very simple. You have to leave. You can't stay there. 6 months max. You can live in Spain. Those who spend over 183 days in Spain. So you can't stay there past 6 months, Victor Marrero. You'll be good then. So, but if you do, which you have to check into the country when you arrive, so they're going to know. And if you have money coming in, they will know. And they're going to say, where's our money, man? You were here for over 183 days, and we know your pension money's coming in. Where's our money? Wow. They're treating you like a resident. That's crazy. Will my pension, here, hold on. Wait a minute. Will my pension be taxed in Spain? Hold on a second. Let me get this up on the screen. Hold on. Not so fast. Hold on. We have something else going on. Let's go. It looks like it may not. Hold on. Does my Tax USA pensions come in? It is not directly taxed, but although you don't pay tax twice, you must still list it in your annual tax return. This enables the pension income to be included when calculating the Spanish tax due on your other annual income. Oh, that's cold. This could push you into higher tax bands and increase your tax bill. Man, please don't tell me what this sounds like it says. Hey, hopefully you guys can see this. This is September 27, 2027. You know what this makes this seem like? It seems like if I have $60,000 pension coming in, they don't count it. But if I have other worldwide income, let's just say 30,000, it seems like they're going to tax the amount above my pension of 8 to 40%. This is crazy. This can't be happening. This enables the pension. Let me go through this again. It is not directly taxed in Spain, but although you don't have to pay tax twice, you must still list it in your annual tax return. So you got to file it. This enables the pension income to be included when calculating the Spanish tax due on your other annual income. This could push you into a higher tax bands and increase your tax bill? Oh, hell no. This is crazy. Yeah, you got to talk to somebody because Americans who retire overseas still have tax obligations. Wow. It looks like, wow. Yeah, you're going to have to talk to somebody in Spain. This isn't cut and dry. They're doing all kind of crazy nowadays. Good God, these countries are killing people. George's Charles, Mr. Emerging Millionaire is in the house. Welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream. And he says his tagline, hi all, I smell money, made a killing today in the stock market. Exactly. You have to be in it to win it, ladies and gentlemen. You need your passport, but you also need the NIE. The real estate agent can get that for you in one day. Oh, that's good. No long-term nonsense. But you only have to pay taxes if you live in the country for 6 months or more straight. We are thinking about staying 3 months there and 3 months in US. Yeah, because it looks like it's 183 days total, not just 6 months at a time. They're talking about you can stay there for 3 months, leave, stay there for 3 months again during the year. But if you stayed 3 months and 4 days, you're going to surpass your 183 days. And now they're looking to get taxation from you. That's crazy to me. That's really, really crazy. Eric, that personal income tax rate may be W-2 work income. I believe pensions include disability pensions are exempt. Yeah, Victor Morel, you are going to have to talk to somebody because it looks like they have several different ways that they're calculating pension money. Either it's not taxable, but it's going to be included on any money coming in, or it is taxable. I don't know what the hell. They got buckets. So, yeah, you're going to have to talk to somebody pretty good. Bingo. If you stay less than 6 months, then you'll be treated as non-tax resident. Correct. They don't tax your specific pension, but they'll add it to your global income, and that's how you get jammed. Exactly. Exactly. Because if they start treating things like, oh, you made 90,000, 60 is your pension, and 30, you don't pay tax on it, but it's counting as 90. Well, if you're counting it as 90, then I'm paying tax on it, right? I mean, what are you talking about here? That means I'm paying tax. So that is crazy. I hope that's not the case because that doesn't make much sense. I mean, geez, there's some that's kind of, but then again, well, wait a minute. If you stay past 183 days, then it's taxable according to them. And also it should be taxable in the USA. But now you're probably going to pay the difference. Oh, if you have to, that would be messed up too. If you had to pay the difference. Now you've opened a can of worms, Victor Morel. Now somebody's going to have to figure out the tax situation for Spain because they're not making it easy for you. They're not making it easy. That's incredible. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, we got this long, so I want everybody to make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you hit that heart and follow button if you're on the Instagram channel. Make sure you show some love there. And also go to Instagram and sign up for the Stop Struggling Now if you haven't already. We got up to 929 with a bullet. They didn't pull back any followers and remove any. So this is a good sign. Let's just get up to 1,000. Try to get up to 1,000 followers there. And then let's see what happens. And also, the live stream does run from there, but it runs a little bit different. I don't know what it looks like because I've never visioned it yet. I've never watched it. There's no way I can watch it. For some reason, I can't save them, but it's weird. So nonetheless, thank you, everybody. Go over to Instagram, sign up. And also, I'm going to play, you know what time it is. SSN Lifestyle, ladies and gentlemen. Speaking of SSN Lifestyle, let me see if I can pick something in honor. Let me see if I can pick something here. I'm trying to think. What was the first one? I don't think I even have the first SSN Lifestyle. I don't even think I do. I don't. All right. Oh, well, let's do this one.
Come on, come on.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. That's right, Mr. Worldwide. We'll be back to Mr. Worldwide probably in about less than 12 months. Why do I say that? Good news. Probate almost over. That's right. It's been a couple of years. And once we do the one last trigger, because we have family members that always want to act stupid. So now we have to spend some more money wastefully to make sure that my mother's wishes gets carried out. Because she said, you know, split everything 3 ways. Well, if you have a property, then that means you have to sell the property. Well, if you have brothers and sisters and one person doesn't want to sell it and everybody else does, that means they can hold up the process. So that means you have to do something called a petition for the court, and they do a partition. But you have to pay more money to lawyers to go do it. And so after they do that, then that puts a reprimand on paying, selling the property. And then the proceeds are automatically split amongst everybody evenly. So we're there. So I'm anticipating this to be about another 7-8 months, maybe 9. That's about it. And after that, back to Mr. Worldwide, ladies and gentlemen. Where we'll land, where will I be? I don't know. Maybe Cali, maybe EU zone. My passport does not expire for 3 years. I just looked at it today. My 10-year passport expires in 3 years. So, Mr. Worldwide will be on board. You guys will be coming along for the ride. All right. So let's keep moving. Oh, SSN Lifestyle Punta Cana Investors Forum is December 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Make sure you go over to stopstrugglingnow.com or ssnlifestyle.com to get tickets. What it does include is only what happens in the DR. Does not include your hotel, does not include your airfare. When we're there, first day, we go see attorneys, we go see lawyers. Second day, we go down to development projects. We go listen to people giving presentations, seeing if you might like it. If you want to buy no qualifying pre-construction property, so be it. But at least you'll get the lay of the land. You'll know some of the offerings. You'll see where places are that you may have only seen on video, and you'll get the, you know, the ambiance. You'll understand the size, the magnitude of the situation, and where things are in relation to when you're driving around. You can understand then, oh yeah, okay, now I get it. This place really isn't that big, right? So then you're like, on the third day, we're going to be doing a couple of things, but one of the most main things is a couple of the bankers. We're going to have them come in and let us know. I like to know the loan situation. It changed over the last 3 to 5 years. So we don't know what the new banking situation is going to be, what the loan rates are. They'll let us know. And it was eye-raising in May when they said 12.5, 13, 14.5% adjustable rate loan. I'm like, adjustable at that high of rate? And now if you owe only 50 grand or 75 grand, 13%, that's like $1,000 a month. I mean, this gets crazy. I mean, this isn't like you would owe 120, 150,000 and you might only owe like 700 a month. This is off the charts. This is off the charts. So that's why you have to be very careful and understand, because if you can't get that option out at the end when they say, hey, delivery date, and you have to, you know, come through with the money and you need a loan, and they say 60 to 90 days and you can't get that loan, you're going to have a problem, because you can't do what you can do here in America, at least not as of May. You can't just roll in and say, hey, just give me the value of the property and let me finance it or refi it or whatever. You can't do that. So just keep that in mind. Even though you've been making monthly payments, they're not counting that as some sort of vested amount. They're just saying, okay, you put a down payment down and we will not give you more than what the property is worth. See, that's what they've kind of changed it a little bit, but we're going to find out if they actually really changed it. Because if you can get up to 60 or 70% loan to value of the asset appraised price, now we have no problem. Because now you can easily say, well, I only owe 40 grand, 50 grand, but the place is worth 175 grand. So give me a little money in my pocket, maybe if I want to go buy something else, or I just want the 40 or 50 grand. Call it a day, right? So, and it changes things if all of a sudden they come into the United States territory where they go, yeah, your place is worth $200,000. You only owe 40. We'll give you 150,000. And you go down the street and put down 20, 30 grand on a down payment on something. And then you take the rest of the money and put it into some stock market event where you're getting 10, 12, 15, 20% return through dividends. So that way, after you start owing money, you use that money to make the payments. And yeah, it's going to be a taxable event, but nonetheless, you're still making payments. And it's not it's your money, but it's not like you had to work for it. So you're not going to mind paying taxes, right? I'm just saying. So what's going to be more important? Just pay the taxes and get yourself another asset that you don't have to pay for out of your own pocket. Simple, right? Simple, simple. We keep it simple for you, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Let's see what else we're going to talk about. One thing and one thing only. I've taken all this time. We've had a little fun talking about the DR. Now I'm going to take you down to the real deal. Now we're going to get down to the real deal. All right. Because I need to show you guys something, because I've been holding off on this. I've talked about it several times. Oh man, I think I've messed up because I was bouncing all over, and I think yeah, I did mess up, but it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I'm going to do this. All right. So you guys can see this on the screen. I don't want anybody in the SSN Nation not understanding this tariff situation that I started off this conversation with, because the stock market is booming. Everything is booming. And this is why in 3 years, 3.5 years, it's going to come to a screeching halt when this happens. Okay. This right here, I hope you guys, let me check something out. Can you guys see this? Yeah, you guys can see this. In fact, I'm going to do this so maybe you can see. Yeah, that'll make it a little better. I don't want anybody confused. Okay, Senate passes, forget the Smoot Hawley. Here we go. 1922, right? Do you guys know 1920s was called the Roaring 20s? All right. Tax cuts have already occurred. Look what happens here. They claim the economic prosperity, there you go, which occurred during the war, 1916, 1917, 1918, such as was due mostly to a lack of imports and to the abundance of exports. Exactly. Now, the abundance of exports is because the other countries didn't do tariffs. They had a little bit of tariffs, but it wasn't like ridiculous. They just said, all right, yeah, we like to trade. We like this stuff coming in because you give us cheap products. So we're not going to do no stinking 5-10% tariffs, but we might do 1% or 2%, but it ain't anything crazy. So their citizens didn't have to pay, a ridiculous amount on 1%, 2%. So we're good, right? You guys understand that, right? So we start 1922. Fordney-McCumber tariff. But oh no, America has the Roaring 20s. They think their stuff don't stink. They're like, we don't need the rest of the world, man. We're rolling. Why are they rolling? Because they are exporting, getting money back for their corporations so they can pay their citizens. Everybody's happy, right? All right. Now, I'm not going to get into the history, but here we go right here. The U.S. tried extra high tariffs before in 1930. So in 1930, all right, Herbert Hoover, when was it? 1928, I think, or was it 1930? But 1928. Okay, Herbert Hoover, he acts like no problema. We have no problem. We can sell stuff all over the world. You know what, though? We want to do protectionism. We're big bad. We're the baddest dudes on the planet. We're good. So here's what happens. Let's see if I can find it real quick, because this leads to more tariffs, and this leads us to here. Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act. Here we go. June 17th, 1930, that raised import duties to protect, does this sound familiar? American businesses and farmers, adding considerable strain to the international economic climate of the Great Depression. The act takes its name from chief sponsors Moot and Hawley. Okay, so you guys understand the United from 1920. Oh, they already put it in 1922. Congress had enacted the Fordney-McCumber Act, which was amongst the most history, raising the average import tax to some 40 freaking %. Oh my God. Okay, again, export is when the United States manufacturing exports outside to other countries. But these clowns in Okay, I knew that was going to happen because this is one of the problems in America that people don't realize. I don't know how far I got along, but I'm basically down to the end of this. So Herbert Hoover promised to increase tariffs on agricultural goods, but after he took office, lobbyists from other economic sectors encouraged him to support a broader increase. When he said, I'm going to do a broader increase, which is what Trump has said, forget about it, 10 to 20%. This is exactly what he said. Hoover said is what Trump's saying. All right. Although an increase in tariffs was supported by most Republicans, an effort to raise import duties failed the opposition to the stock market crash of 1929. Now, we don't may have contributed to the rise of political extremism and gain power. Hey ho, hey ho. I knew this was going to happen tonight. I knew they weren't going to open up some educational information. I knew they weren't going to allow that. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Go check it out yourself. Go read that, because this is an exactly repeat of history. And this is why I can rest assured in 3.5 years, we will be having attacks from our partners, our allies, because they're going to go, what do you mean we're going to be paying 10 to 20% tariffs? So you guys don't understand the significance and the situation that's going to occur. We already have, remember, the United States is the best country after the pandemic. Remember, the pandemic was a worldwide occurrence, and the only America's #1 amongst the G7. Biden has us in that position. But now, if you go back to this protectionism stuff from the 1920s, you're going to find us competing against our existing allies, plus the rest of the world is going to start retaliating, especially if he does it just like they were doing to frickin' everybody. They're going to take it as, wait a minute, why? We don't have to trade with you. We don't have to buy from you. Your stuff you guys make can be made elsewhere. We'll just buy it from somebody who's not trying to jack us for 10 to 20%. Now our corporations and companies will be going out of business, laying people off. This has already started in anticipation of the tariffs coming in as soon as 2 months from now. So keep that in mind while you're out here making your investment strategies, because your financial future, if your financial plans will hurt if it gets interrupted where you don't have disposable income. And that could happen in a blink of an eye, because if something goes up 20, 40, 50%, and already 70% of the population is living paycheck to paycheck, that means 80% of the people are going to be living paycheck to paycheck like overnight. And I don't want that to be you. All right. So you need assets. And I'm, again, even if the asset is a tiny home, I don't really care. #1 is shelter. You need a roof over your head. So that's the #1 thing that you're going to have to figure out. Your insurance rates are going to go up for your home. Your property tax rates are going to go up for your home, just because, never mind, it has nothing to do with government stuff. It has to do with whether it has already happened, right? They're taking less risk. The insurance companies are taking less risk, and they're only insuring certain people. So if they have less amount of people, as I've discussed before, if we have $1 million to cover and we only have 10 people, that means each person has to put in 100,000. But if 2 of the people out of the 8 are too risky to insure, then only 8 people will have to cover the $1 million. So now everybody has to pay 100,000 plus to meet that $1 million that we need. And as you take away another person, now special assessment, we got to get the additional money in, right? So those type of things are already in motion, because instead of effing around with tariffs, should be effing around with insurance caps or some way to get insurance down so American citizens are covered. Because if there's another hurricane, which won't be this year, more than likely, hurricane season is pretty much over. It's getting colder. But next year, there will be situations. And what's happening in Florida right now, California, is fire, like usual. Dry and lots of terrain. A lot of California's timber is forest, trees, and so they're burning. And people live in areas that were forest before. They just cut down all the trees. Now it's reclaiming, and now there's homes that cost $3 million, $5 million. And people have insurance. Do you think the insurance company are going to pay those guys? You really think they are? I don't. 50% of the people will get some money. Less than 10% of the people will get enough to repair their home and rebuild. Other people are going to lose their coverage altogether. They won't be able to get new coverage. Even people whose homes weren't burned now cannot get new coverage. So now they're naked. So this is the type of stuff that's going to happen on top of whatever else happens with the next regime of our government and whatever they decide to do to affect the cash flow. And the other side of the thing is, when somebody says we're going to do something as a group in America, if somebody says I'm going to do mass deportation, when you say that, that means a couple of things. Does that mean I have the brown shirts with the little S patch on them and they're going door to door knocking? Well, see, if you do stuff like that, then you're going to have money to pay those people to go do that job. And if we have a big ass country like we have, and they have to go to where? Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, California, Illinois. What are we talking about here? We're going to have a force that rolls around and checks everybody's door, and not even check everybody's door. I need to come in. Are we just going to forego all our constitutional rights? I just need to come in. Wait, who are you? Oh, I work for the government. What does that mean? You can't just roll up in here. You got a warrant or something? No. Who cares? I got full immunity. Are you guys getting it yet? What does that sound like? This is what these guys are saying. Who's going to pay for that? We have a deficit already. We can't pay our $1 trillion every month that we owe interest payment. And you're talking about putting tariffs, and you're talking about spending trillions more dollars to hire. I don't know how many people you got to hire, but it's not going to be it ain't going to be 5,000 in order to sweep a whole country of every nook and cranny. And then you're going to have documentation, and you're going to have centers to place people. So I guess that's why the prison stocks went up today. This is a daunting task. And with everything that's being said, you can understand in 2.5 years, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a different country, and there's going to be a problem. Because if you do say you're down with this deportation of everybody that's brown, okay, fine. But all I'm going to ask you is, who's going to be taking those? Let's just say right now today, 1 million people that have a job are booted out the country. Doesn't matter what nationality you are, ethnic group. 1 million people are booted out the country. Who's going to go replace those 1 million jobs if those jobs are in the service sector or in the fruit picking sector? Who's going to replace those 1 million jobs? This is something that people in the Dominican Republic are now going to figure out as well. I made Dominican Republic weekly video today. The meat They're putting 18% ITBIS on ham, sausages, cold cuts. So now the restaurants, the prices are going up because their food cost, and some of their food cost is 20% more. They just started enforcing it November 4th. The farmers that are in the DR are losing their farms because the country, they're not paying the insurance bill. So farmers have insurance in the DR and in the United States, where if your crop doesn't yield what it's supposed to yield, then insurance is covering it, so you get paid some money. In the DR, their government hasn't paid the insurance. What happens? The farmers could go out of business. They're talking about it right now. But because they are running a deficit like the United States, they might have to borrow money. 800 million pesos. I don't know what that actually is in USD, but it's 800 million pesos that's owed. And if they don't pay it, farmers are going to be out of business. Why? Because they had a drought, or I don't want to call it a drought, but they're not going to reach what their maximum yield is. So if they could be out of business, which then means food costs are going to go higher. This is Dominican Republic. So you keep playing around, you're going to F around and find out. As long as you're up in the upper class making money, you're going to be immune. But everybody else who's down here, your grocery stores are empty, the prices are going up, and you're going to start blaming somebody, and you don't understand what they're doing, what your government is doing, and the repercussions. You're all going rah, rah, shish, kumbah, but you're going to be left behind, i.e., we have people here that own outside of the United States. Some people own in the DR, but the DR, they're doing United States type stuff. And they're thinking, and their citizens, when the Haitian thing came out between October 2nd and November 5th, I can't remember the number. I think it was 60,900 Haitians were deported. That's a lot of people, reality. Now, percentage-wise, there's 11 million, 10 to 11 million people on the island. Percentage-wise, it's a drop in the bucket. But the drop in the bucket is exasperated because if they're doing manual labor, it's one thing if it's just people sitting in the street. It's another thing if they actually were doing manual labor in the country. So now you're going to have to replace that person or persons with other people that want to do manual labor. And that's where the problem comes in. Nobody really wants to do manual labor, or they might not even be young enough to do manual labor, right? So now all of a sudden, and the temperature, remember, it's not like in America where it might be like 50 degrees or 40 degrees out. We're talking where you could be in 85 to 95 degrees with humidity year round, damn near. So who's going to replace these people? And if they tell you that you're going to be getting paid $7,000 a year, and you have to do this backbreaking or heavy lifting type stuff, how many people are going to sign up? I guarantee you, this is why you have immigrants come into countries, because immigrants generally will take jobs that can get them to survive first. And then once they save their money or work together to save their money, then they can say, okay, I don't need to do that anymore. I'll do something else. But people who are comfortable, like United States citizens mostly are comfortable, they don't usually want to get up at 5 a.m. in the morning, pull stuff out of the ground all day until 5 p.m. or 3 p.m. in the afternoon, and then come back and do it again. Nobody really wants to do that. And then not get paid, but $10 an hour, $12 an hour, $8 an hour. You're not coming back. You're going to be like, are you kidding me right now? I got to come back and I got to bend over. I'm hurting, right? And it's hot out here. Now it's cold out here. So that is the problem when people start spouting tariffs. I put in the chat room Britannica for the Smoot-Hawley Act from 1930. They give a little history. And I thank my parents because I had Britannica books. So when people say, Eric, how do you know a lot of stuff? People used to ask me. I said, well, I was very fortunate. My parents had Britannicas, encyclopedias sitting on a shelf. You go to school, somebody tells you something, right? Your teacher, you're listening to your teacher, and they'll say some historical stuff. They'll be like, yeah, this happened then, this happened there. Well, okay. I go to the house, I start reading. And then back then we didn't have computers. So I would have to go pull up the Smoot-Hawley Act separately. So then I can understand in their language what they wrote it for. Then I would have to go to the first one in 1922 and go look that up separately, right? So all this stuff is learning, but you're just learning because you want to find out what happened. Because I've always been a business guy. So I always want to find out what the ramifications was. If you do that, then what happens next? If you did that, then what happens after that? And then what did people do to respond? So this Britannica edition, they're telling you what happened with the other countries when the other countries said, you know what, we had enough of this. We're going to do our taxes on you, our tariffs on you. So now your companies can't sell to our customers. So now your companies are going out of business. Fine. But amongst us out here, we're selling amongst ourselves still. So we're going to be fine. You're the one that's not going to be fine. That's an embargo. AKA, it's like an embargo. Just like what we do with Russia when they're fighting in Ukraine. They said, we'll do an embargo. You can't sell to Russia. You know, stuff you can't do. Companies have to move out, stuff like that, right? Same thing. So again, this is why you're going to have a problem, ladies and gentlemen, when 2.5, 3.5 years from now, if you don't have your assets in order, you're going to have to be amongst the richest people in the world. You're going to have $200,000 household income with you, your wife, your kids. I don't really care who's going to work, but you're going to need to live that because you may not have health care and you may not have any safety nets. That's how swiftly this could change. That's why Trump voters are called uneducated. They don't understand how tariffs work. Well, yeah. And quite frankly, it's a lot of people that don't know how tariffs work. But yeah, that's the whole point. A lot of people on that side who voted said they thought it was okay to do tariffs. Meanwhile, here, if you're part of the SSN Nation, I've been telling you guys, no, we don't want tariffs. You don't want tax cuts. You don't want tax breaks. Anytime somebody uses those three words and you are a citizen, you should be telling them to get off the stage. You should be flipping the bird. You should be like, dude, what are you saying? Have you lost your mind right now? Corporations, farmers, our food supply is about to get reduced. And now we're going to have to pay more money at the grocery store in T-minus 2 years. So when they did that tax cuts in 2017, 2019, 2020, with the pandemic occurring, all of a sudden a crunch. You can't get food at the grocery store. Shelves are empty. It's like that's what's going to happen again. Same thing. It ain't going to happen. It'll be 2.5 to 3 years later. That's how it works. It has to run through the system. Just like right now, people are ordering prematurely if they have stuff made in China or importing from China. They said, we're spending all our money just to get the stuff now because we can't afford an unknown tax of a tariff. We can't do that because that's what tariff is. It's a tax. If he does 20%, or what if he does the 60%? All the products would be 20% to 60% more. We'd rather buy everything at the price now. We can't afford that. So in order for us to stay in business, we have to buy more. And ladies and gentlemen, by them doing that, you want to know the repercussions? Here it is. I now have to buy more and I have to store it because I don't have the customers to buy it because we don't buy according to that. Now you're telling me price is going to go up, so I have to buy now. Now I got to go store it. You guys know how much it costs to store stuff in warehouses? It ain't cheap. Every month it's sitting in the warehouse now, the next 2 to 3 months, they're paying, but they're not making any profit because they're only selling the inventory that they bought based on their years of being in business. And so now that property that's sitting in the storage area now has another value. The value that they paid plus every month, whatever it is, $10,000 per month. You know who they're going to charge that $10,000 per month to? You, the buyer. So now, next year, without any tariffs, which he was going to do anyhow, without any tariffs, prices are going up because they had to pre-order, just because to preempt if the no tariffs kick off, right? Let's just say he gets talked out of tariffs. The damage is already done because he's railed on doing tariffs, so people believe it. That's why. So businesses have to react. They have to say, well, he keeps saying he's going to do it. Now he's saying he's going to go 10 to 20% on everybody. So now everybody's reacting. All corporations, if they can afford it, they have to spend their money in advance now. Any loose change, cash flow sitting, duffel bags of cash, they got to go, damn, man, look at this. If this goes up 40%, that means we got to charge our whole customer base 50% more. That ain't going to sell. And now what do they're locked. They're effed. Because now they're going to have a whole bunch of inventory. And on the other side of the fence, their price has to go up based on the holding cost. And maybe it's only 10%. But see, it's very fragile in the capitalist system. Even if it goes up 10%, you don't know what the response is going to be from your consumer. Maybe most of the time it's no big deal, but maybe it is. And now we're gambling on stuff you don't have to gamble with. And now that's what's going to end up happening. So there's going to be a situation where we have this two-way street going. Tax cut, tax breaks, tariffs, interest rates coming down from the Federal Reserve. You're going to have a boom on three things: tax cut, tax breaks, and the interest rate coming down. But at the same time, people won't be able to afford everyday things already who are doing 70% paycheck to paycheck. This is not rocket science. I hope I'm explaining it to you guys so you can understand. The devastation is going to happen. It's not going to be until 3 years. But after 3 years, there's going to be repercussions from this. So you guys sit back, relax. But here in the SSN Nation, we didn't sit back. We didn't relax. We're still not relaxing. And a lot of us have property overseas. Or you have dual citizenship, which now means whatever happens in the United States, so be it. But I mean, you'll be looking on the other side of the fence. You'll be on the other side of the ocean like, look at these dumbasses. And you'll be sitting nice and comfy. Again, a lot of people don't have that situation. In fact, you know what I want to do right now? I'm going to Google something just to see what the number is. I was talking with my daughter today. How many people in the USA, how many, I won't use people, how many USA citizens have traveled outside of the USA in the past, I guess? I don't really know why they would use each year. I want to know. Okay. Pew Research says approximately 76% of Americans have traveled outside the United States at some point in their lives, meaning a significant majority of U.S. citizens have international travel experience. I didn't even realize it's that high. The reason why I didn't realize it's that high is because how many USA citizens have traveled outside of their state? Okay. See, this is why it doesn't make sense. It says 11% of Americans have never traveled outside of the state where they were born. 54% of respondents have visited 10 states or fewer. 13% of respondents have never flown in a plane. 40% of respondents have never left the country. That's why I'm confused about the 76% because I didn't think it was that high. So it does. This is very interesting that they say 40% of these guys responded, say they never left the country. Over half of the respondents have never owned a passport. That's 50%. So where are they getting this 76%? I don't get it. I know it ain't 76%, quite frankly. But nonetheless, I just had to see what Google says, making it seem like that many people travel outside the USA. It ain't true. All right. Let's see what's going to happen here. Sometimes you have to pay for your mistake. Well, we're going to be paying for it, ladies and gentlemen. That's why I had to give the little history lesson today before we got blocked off. I knew they were going to block it because anytime we start talking about things that's historical that people usually aren't taught these days and know anything about, they start, wait a minute, he's talking about stuff that this frees people up for their own minds. And now they're going to realize what was said is all like, you're screwing the American citizen. The wealthy people, they're still going to be fine. That's the problem. The guys who make 200,000 plus a year, they'll be fine as long as they have their job. But everybody else, you're not going to be able to make enough to pay for the livable wage that you're going to need, because 20% more, if a tariff comes in as 20%, that means your bills are 20% more. What more do you got to say? This is not good. 70% live paycheck to paycheck during the month. 78% live paycheck to paycheck. We're almost at 80% already. We're going to be at 85% in 3.5 years from now. I'll be retired by then, I think. Yeah, I will be, because I only have less than 3 years. I told you guys, 2 years, 9 months, 2 years, 8 months, somewhere like that. That's why every Friday I give a story. You guys missed a long story. I gave a long one. I gave you guys have heard it before, the 6-month long story I gave on Friday night. Starting at the Sundance Film Festival, coming up on Amtrak train, and then leaving. I came one way because that's my thing. I always go one way. I don't really like doing round trips because I'm locked in. If I want to stay longer, I'm like, damn, I got to go. My flight. I'm like, so I learned a long time ago, I just try to go one way if possible, wherever I go. So that way I can stay as long as I want. So that's what happened. When we're getting ready to leave, I'll make this short because I've told this before, but on Friday nights, it's story night on our 9-10 p.m. live stream. But when we were going back, it was like $40 a person on the Amtrak for the sleeper car coming to Salt Lake City to go to the Sundance. So I'm thinking, okay, 40, 50 bucks, whatever, going back. Wrong. Getting ready to go back after Sundance. The dude said something like $125, $140 per person. I was like, dude, Amtrak, I just came over here. It was like less than $100 for a sleeper car. Yeah, well, it's 100 and something now. So I turned to the wife and I said, hey, you know what? Let's go see how much flights are out of Salt Lake City, and let's go see my parents in Atlanta, because I've never visited them. I think an airfare trip to Atlanta is going to be cheaper than this. So sure enough, I go looking through the internet and I run into Frontier Airlines. It's like their first year that they're open at the Denver International Airport. Amtrak says, oh, we'll take you to Denver. It's only $20 a person. I was like, okay. And at that time, $75 a person to fly to the ATL. I was like, we're going to the ATL. Let's go. And the rest is history. A 6-month road trip, traveling from Atlanta to New Orleans to San Antonio, doing the Riverwalk, doing the all kind of crazy, right? Going in Comanche, Texas, going to Underwoods with the best peach cobbler in Brownswood, Texas, on the planet. And then realizing I said, I'm going to take 80 back to SAC. Then I'm looking at the map and I'm like, wait a minute. New Mexico's right here. I call up the guys that did Santa Fe Studios, the movie studios there. I go there. We go there. Hang out there for, I don't remember, 4 or 5 days. Then on the way back, I thought we went back to SAC. But since I told the story on Friday, I said to the wife, I said, I can't remember what happened after we went to the Grand Canyon, Petrified Forest on the way back. Did we go to Vegas? I said, I couldn't remember. So I just figured we just went to SAC. She's like, oh, no, remember we got stuck at the dam. I was like, oh, yeah. Yeah. When they changed the dam configuration, they were doing road work. So we got stuck and they will only let you go by one way for 30 minutes or 20 minutes or something. I can't remember exactly. But yeah, we stayed on one side, and I was like, this is different. It looked it's so much nicer than 20 years ago. And so yeah, so then we stayed in Las Vegas. Then, which I after she started saying it, and just now we went because I never been to Laughlin, because you guys, I know I ride motorcycles, and they have the Laughlin River Run. That used to be one of those big time motorcycle runs back in the day. I don't know if it still is. So I was like, hey, why don't we go through Laughlin? Why don't we go find out where this place is? Also, so went to Laughlin, all kind of crazy. Found out it was just a freaking little like hole in the wall with like 4 casinos, a little river that was not even like a river. It was crazy. I was like, you kidding me? They have a motorcycle rally down here? This is crazy. I was like, I'm never coming down here on my motorcycle. But anyhow, that was the one. I gave more details on the trip, though. Of course, we had more time. But this ain't it. Friday night is the night. All right. So just letting you guys know. Once again, I want to thank everybody for being here. I'm going to close up shop tonight. Make sure you guys understand. Make sure you study. All right. Because this is going to be the most pivotal situation over the next few years. And I'm going to put in this again so you guys can go look it up yourself. So they explain CRT. All right, that everybody's afraid of CRT, because if America would have known what has already happened in the 20s, because the roaring 2010s were here, remember? When Obama, 2009, and then all of a sudden they flooded the market with free money. So from like 2010 up until 2019, all-time record highs on stock markets. Everything's flowing. It was the roaring 2010s. But back then it was the roaring 2020s. Same exact thing happened, except interruption because Biden won, but that would have transpired into other tariffs. So that little sequence that happened, it stalled. But now we're back at it with the same mentality of 1929 by Herbert Hoover. And Herbert Hoover, it's over. It's a wrap. So you can figure out, you do those 3 things that they did in the 20s. Now you know what's going to happen to us now. And you know what's funny? It's the 20s now. This is the funniest thing. 100 years later, damn near, they're doing the same thing that history already shows is an economy killer. It's a country killer for the middle class and lower classes. And they're about to proudly do it again. And people are going, rah, rah, rah. And I'm going, okay, do your thing. You don't have options. You're going to be screwed. All right, enough of the soapbox. So again, smash that like button on the way out. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. I know it's hard out here, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm just trying to help you out. There's some of you that might take it the wrong way, but unfortunately, when you start looking at the facts, you look at the truth, you look at history, there's no wrong way to take it. You have to admit to yourself that you should study a little bit more and say, hey, wait a minute, I don't think this is right. Let me go study this a little bit more, because if we're mirroring something that was failed before, why would I be happy about that? And now you have an obligation to yourself and your family to make moves, because you can figure out what's going to happen. The end result, you know now. You don't have to wait to find out the end result later. You know now what the end result's going to be. You have time to make decisions. So even if everything is implemented, you can say, okay, I think I need to do this now, just in case 2.5 years from now or 3 years from now this happens. At least you'll put yourself in position, right? That's what you want to do. You don't want to put yourself where you're handicapped, where all of a sudden anything can happen. Where, again, I always say this. People live in a country that they take things for granted. I keep telling people, do not take anything for granted anymore. Our Constitution doesn't mean anything. Nothing means anything. If they shut off your passport, what are you going to do? You're going to be crossing borders illegally? I'm asking for a migrant. If things get bad in your country and you want to cross a border because somebody's snatching your children, your women, your kids, threatening you to be in a drug cartel or chopping off heads or whatever the case may be, are you really going to consider there's a border right there, there's a river right there, I'm not going to jump that bad boy? Especially if the other place on the other side, they're not doing that. Now, vice versa, Americans going to Mexico, that's not really a good thing. Because one of them coyotes find you out in the middle of the freaking river, water, mountains, desert, your life about to change. Only if a good guy finds you. If the bad guys find you, you're in a whole world of hurt and your whole family. So you're not wanting to really do that. Now, if you can skip over, that would be your best move, right? But that's the difference. You come to America, you're relatively safe. You go to Mexico, you ain't safe unless you know somebody. You don't even know where you're going. Get caught out there in the middle of nowhere. You're going to find out real fast you didn't want to do that. Your life about to change. All right? Just keep that in mind. The situation is very, very bad when you have people with machetes and stuff like this trying to chop you up and take kids and do trafficking situations and basically needing recruits. Will kill you if you don't join us. That's not really a choice, is it? So, I mean, this is what we're dealing with here. And you guys just take it cavalierly, like, no, these people are bad or that person's bad. You don't know who's bad. All you know is when somebody says, hey, man, I don't want to live there, you could be in that same situation. I don't want to live here. And then you go somewhere else, and now you're under the hunted. Because as soon as they see your face, they're going to be like, oh, no, he ain't from here. We can hold him hostage. Call home. Give us money, or we'll kill him. You guys have no idea what the rest of the world does in certain instances. And that's probably good for a lot of you. You know, like when you're watching TV sometime and in the movies, they go, the military always goes, well, it's good that the American citizens don't know what the military is really out here doing, right? Because if you actually knew what they're out here doing, you would probably be like, what do you mean? I thought you said we didn't have anybody in Niger, Africa. What do you mean our people got killed in Niger, Africa? What are we doing there? What do you mean our guys got killed in Somalia? I thought there was some other stuff going on in Somalia. No. This is what you don't understand. There's a lot of stuff going on in the world that American citizens, because you're shielded, because you're relatively a safe, unsafe, medium safe civilization here, you guys don't understand what's going on outside of these borders. And especially in countries in South America, Central America, and Mexico. You guys just hear rumblings. They depict things on TV and movies, but that's not even, you guys are not even in the ballpark. What they show in movies sometime is what's really happening in real life, where you have containers full of people that are on those ships. They're filled with humans. Trafficking. You guys don't understand. This is a real thing. All right? I live in a border state. I know some bad guys. Thank God I don't hang out with these bad guys. I know some bad guys, but this is ordinary stuff that if you decided to be a bad guy, your life is on the line, always in danger, and they're doing, you cannot believe, guns, drugs, humans, shipments. So when you see migrants walking across a border, that's what people don't understand. They're walking. There's other migrants that ain't walking. They're in trucks. They're in cargo hulls. They're in containers. You don't understand. If they're trying to do other trafficking, they're not coming that way. And there are tunnels under America, across underneath the borders. There's tunnels there already. That is not a TV thing. They're there already. So when you guys are acting like you can stop somebody from coming to America, you cannot. And we can't put up a fence on a 2,000-mile border that's rivers, mountains, and all that. That's not even feasible. And you're going to have to pay for it if you even tried it. That's going to be trillions of dollars to complete. And how many years, I don't know, but that's 2,000 miles. Just on one border, never mind the northern border, which doesn't have any fencing whatsoever. So if you guys want to play those games, we're going to F around and find out, though, over the next 2 years, quite frankly. That's what they're saying. So all I can tell you is financial plans will hurt, but that's not until after the boom. So get yourselves in order right now. While the boom is occurring, you have to make investments. No more partying. No more liabilities. No more new cars. No more loans. Every piece of money I'm suggesting is you need to buy assets, and those assets are the stock market because that thing is booming. Dividend funds, REITs, booming. Get your 18% for however long you can get it. As long as that stock, real estate investment trust, is giving out 18%, if you buy in today, ORC, and it's giving you 18.9%, that's what you're going to be making. I think a lot of people wouldn't mind making about 19% annually on a real estate investment trust, or 16% or 15%. PSEC is a whole nother ball game. But again, we're talking about teens, 13, 14, 15, 16, AGNC, NLY, 13%. People will take that all day, every day if they get that every year. And all you have to do is make one-time investment, and just reinvest your dividends, and it keeps rolling. If nothing happens and the guy that's at Stop Struggling Now is completely wrong, which I'm just telling you right now, I'm not going to be wrong. I don't know what to tell you. The Federal Reserve can't save you. Tax cut, tax breaks, tariffs, they can't save you. Federal Reserve can't save you. And history shows that what's going to happen already. And we know what the response is. China, by the way, already responded. They just said, we're not buying from United States farmers. So now United States farmers are going to be going out of business. Our food costs are going to increase. They already started it. They put a note out November 1st. So the plan's already started. So now, are you going to buy a farm and make your own foods? Because you're going to have to buy